So what is RTM really? Back in January 1st of 22, all of a sudden these codes became available, right? Those in the know, and I wasn't one of them at that time, knew that these were going to come out. And what they wanted to do while presenting these new CPT codes, which by the way, I've been practicing, as Laura said, since '08. I've not been aware of a creation of a new CPT code for a therapist to bill. All I've been aware of is kind of the death by 1,000 cuts during my tenure, my professional tenure, which hurts. It stings, right? As a professional, it stings to see our work get docked like that. So it's exciting when new CPT codes are available to say, all right, what do these really mean? And the initial intention was to create something which was already in existence, kind of copy it. So RPM was already in existence for physicians to bill. And the analogy I like to give there is think of a cardiac physician giving a monitor to his patient. He's got to recoup the cost of the device, of the training, of the time spent reading the data that comes back, and then documenting how it influenced his program, right? And the reimbursement for that happened underneath the RPM codes. So the initial rulings basically copy just how can we make this happen in the therapy world. So it was an effort to capture some kind of musculoskeletal data that was given through a device. Included in that definition was a software as a medical device, with the whole intention of encouraging active participation and opening up another door, another avenue for patients to feel comfortable relaying how they're doing, and have those open discussions with their treating therapists in an effort to kind of move forward, take the next step, and do it more quickly, more efficiently when they're having those communications. So that moves us to the other part of the codes is all those extra things that happen as a therapist, how well we take care of our patients by responding to an email, by offering a message platform that we can respond to their questions quickly, by taking that phone call while we're finishing up an eval and slamming our lunch sandwich because Sherry forgot something or she's nervous about how sore the exercises made her last time. Those are things that we've done organically. We all know that the patient that is following through with our prescription, our medicine, is exercise, and that person that is following through with that exercise is going to get better. They're taking our medicine. If we can demonstrate how well that patient's doing with it, boy, we are getting a nod to our professional prescription, something we're already doing. We're also getting a nod to how well we take care of our patients through the extra communication. So this slide just kind of says, again, the people that by rule can bill for these codes are PTs, of course, PTAs and OTs, OTAs, CODAs, and then your speech language pathologist. MDs are included in this too. They're always kind of lumped in with stuff. We know that. All right. So here's the codes. There's 4 codes in the outpatient orthopedic world, right? The 5th is only a change from 7.7 to 7.6 for speech. All right. So if you're speech or respiratory in that nature and using musculoskeletal treatments, it's a 7.7 code. So I think that the majority of us here will be in the 7.7 realm if you're OT, PT. So we're just going to call it 4 for now. So basically the 4 codes. 7.5 code is I'm training the patient. I've supplied this medical device. We're talking about Wibbi, which was Physiotech. So if I say Physiotech, it's one and the same thing. It was a recent switch, and I'm used to years of using Physiotech's HEP, now doing the RTM education on their behalf. So if I say Physiotech, I mean Wibbi. If I say Wibbi, I mean Physiotech. Okay, we got it. So training that patient, providing them an access to a software as a medical device. It could be some kind of cool wearable device that's sending data back. Um, we always want to make sure that the FDA kind of approves of it, and that helps with the full bolstering of what you're offering. But this code can only be billed once per plan of care. And how to bill that code, I'm actually going to flip forward to the next slide because this gives a couple more details. Is it's basically like a prescription. If you had a bacterial infection, you went to the doc, he wrote you a prescription um, for some medicine. He says, okay, I want you to get this filled out. You're going to go to the pharmacist, and here's how I want you to take it, how often I want to take it. I want you to finish the whole bottle, even though you start feeling better. So he gives you those instructions. You're not charged anything until you walk to the pharmacist. He gives you the bottle, explains again how to take it. Now your credit card goes in the machine, right? You're charged the co-pay, co-insurance, the full price, whatever your insurance says. That's when you're charged. So this is the same kind of thing with this. When that patient picks up their prescription, now the counter starts, and the counter counts with these other codes too here. So the first login or the first point of data that is sent by this device is day one. If that person remains under your plan of care, regardless of their compliance, for at least 16 days, this is kind of preventing the HEP only, the one and dones, then this is a billable code. This is just once per plan of care. So I know that our Parkinson's type patients are long-term, right? There's a lot of management involved over months. As long as it's still going underneath that initial plan of care, that just kind of keeps getting bolstered and lengthened and signed, that's still one plan of care. In my world where it's more orthopedic, I see Jim for his shoulder in February. We do 2 months of work together. Then he comes in August for his knee pain. We do 3 months of work together there. Those are two separate planes of care. So this starts over for that second plane of care. The 77 code is 30 days during that plan of care. So day one is that first retrieval, first data point, until day 30. As long as the system is transmitting 16 of 30 days of data for you, that is a billable code in that 30 days. Day 31 now becomes day one of the next 30 days. And this goes on for as long as the plan of care is active. This code is demonstrating the patient's use, some data back that may or may not influence the therapist's decision making for what is being done at home. That's kind of the low-hanging fruit. We already give an HEP. That's what Wibbi's based off of, is their HEP platform. That's kind of what we're doing. We're expecting that person to follow through, and after our clinic care, that they're doing stuff at home. That's where change happens. And that's where what was learned is either kept or lost, right, by what the patient's doing. So if we can prove that it's happening, that at least compliance is happening, then this is a billable code. And it's great because it follows the research. The person that does their work is going to get better. Or, in the Parkinson's world, at least maintain longer, and hopefully make improvements and strides in the right direction, depending where the level they were when you found them at eval. The communication codes, 8081. Now, here's why it's important to have a system. Not only is it tracking 30 days with day 1 to 30 and interactions and data in between, but these communication codes are based on calendar months. Again, remember, we're dealing with CMS writing these rules. So here we go. So we got 30 days, we got calendar months. At the first of every month, you've got unlimited buckets in front of you. The first bucket is labeled with an 80. Then you have unlimited 81s afterwards. To be able to bill, the first communication code that you're going to bill is the 80 code, is time spent doing actions. The things that go in this bucket to fill this bucket include electronic communication, whether it's through a platform, text, email, uploading additional supportive education, changing the home exercise program based on responses, reviewing outcome forms, That is all the extras that go in here, as long as it's on behalf of and somewhat directly related to communication between the patient and or the patient's caregiver. But it needs to include, to be able to bill any of these communication codes, you have to have at least one synchronous conversation in a month's time. Synchronous conversation is like a volleyball match, right? Boom, boom, boom. It's instant, and it has to be able to be documented that way. So most often it's a phone call in the outpatient world. It could be 2 minutes, could be 22 minutes. There's no time limit there, just that it has to happen. Now, if that phone call happens, you can bill the 80. You don't have to have an additional conversation, synchronous conversation, to bill that 81. Other ways that the synchronous conversation happens in other clinics that has a large percentage of Parkinson's type patients is oftentimes it's attached to a gym, right? So these people are coming in on days that there is not a clinic day visit. If it is a conversation that happens in person that is synchronous, and if you as the therapist deem it useful in their care, hey, Matt, could you show me that that little extra movement that we added last time? I've kind of forgot. I don't feel like it's doing right. Let me see it. All right, yeah, no, do this instead. So that's 3 minutes of your time as you're kind of walking between patients. Note it, right? That's your synchronous conversation. For the 8-1, it's all that stuff can be, but it's an additional 20 minutes that's documented, right? So it may happen several times. In a busy outpatient world, if that patient is talked to once, you add a couple things, you'll get 8-1 or 8-0. Maybe you'll get 8-1 a couple times on patients.